Hi, I'm Mike Loesche with Homeland K-9. I want to thank you for watching this remote collar comparison video. The three collars that we're going to talk about today is a sport dog, a Tritronic, and a Dogtra. These are three of the common collars that are used out there by dog professionals today. The first collar we're going to talk about is a Sport Dog 800. Both of these units, the collar and the actual remote itself, are waterproof and rechargeable, which is nice. This collar has a half-mile range, all right, which is nice, and the actual collar itself is pretty small, so you can use it on small dogs, okay, so that works out pretty well too. On the remote, you have 8 levels of stimulation, and you've got a nick button, a continuous button, and an audible button, okay, so when you push the audible button, your dog will actually hear a beeping noise that will come through the collar. And so there's some different variations that you can use that method for, or that mode for. And so it's a pretty nice collar. We'll talk about a Tritronic next. We'll talk about the Tritronic. It's a Sport Basic G3. Also has a half-mile range. The actual collar itself and the remote are both waterproof. And however, the collar is rechargeable. The remote is not rechargeable. Okay, so you'll actually need, there's a 9-volt battery in the back of this remote, so you'll need to replace them from time to time, so that's a little bit of a downfall with that. But both, like I said, are waterproof, and they have a half-mile range as well. One of the downsides to the Tritronic collar is it's pretty large, okay? So it's pretty rough to put on smaller dogs. It's just a bigger collar, all right? With the actual remote, you have 10 levels of stimulation, and you actually have a continuous button, a momentary button, and a what they call a buzz button, all right? And so when you hit the buzz button, your dog will hear like a buzzing noise that will come through the receiver. And so a pretty nice collar, like I said, just some downsides with not being rechargeable with the transmitter, and also with the actual receiver being pretty large. And the last collar we're going to talk about is a Dogtra 280 NCP. This is what Homeland K-9 prefers to use for several reasons. One is that the actual collar in itself is pretty small. We've got this exact same collar on everything from 6.5-pound dogs all the way up to Mastiffs, okay, and everything in between. So it works out really well for that. Half-mile range, waterproof, and both of these units are rechargeable. So the collar and the remote are actually rechargeable, so that's kind of nice. Some of the features that you have on the remote, there's 127 levels, okay, of intensity or stimulation on this remote. So that's really nice. And you can start out at 0 and go all the way up to 127. The nice thing about that is the level of intensity change between a 1 and a 2 is the same level of intensity change between 126 and 127. So it's just a steady progressive incline all the way up from 0 all the way up to 127. So you can kind of fine-tune this collar in for each individual dog and for the distraction that you're dealing with. So it's really nice for that purpose alone. There's a few different buttons on the collar or on the remote itself. One is a pager. That's a little bit different. The pager is actually just a vibrate. All right, so it's kind of like your cell phone that's set on vibrate. When you push the pager, the dog feels a vibration that comes through the collar. So you can use that for different applications. It also has a nick and a continuous button. Pretty nice. But like I said, the 127 levels is what separates this collar apart from the other two, plain and simple. I never put a collar on a dog without the client feeling it first, so I will make the client hold the collar and start to turn up the level of intensity until I know that they can feel it, or until they tell me that they can feel it. And so we use Tritronics for years, and usually with the lowest setting on a Tritronic and a sport dog, you can already feel the intensity or the stimulation that's coming through the collar. With a Dogtra, we can usually get up to around 15. I've had some clients go all the way up to 40 before they can start feeling that stimulation that's coming through the collar. So therefore, I tell you that to tell you this. We've got a lot of dogs that come in here for board and trains. Most of them are doing their go-home lessons in single digits, okay? So a Tritronic and a sport dog might be too much for some dogs, all right? So dogs are a little bit more sensitive than we are. Like I said, most humans are not feeling it to a 15 and above, and most dogs are going home under the 15s. Most are going home in single digits. All right. So there's a lot more variations, okay, with this collar, and that's why we choose it over the other two. If you decide that you want to order a Dogtra collar from Homeland K-9, we are going to send you a link where you're going to be able to watch a free How to Get Your Dog to Recall in 10 Minutes or Less video. It's a super nice video. It's very user-friendly. You're going to learn a lot from it. It's a lot of fun. And then once you find out how we start using the collars, you can kind of go from there. If you have any questions about the collar in itself and how we use it, you can feel free to contact us through our website. You can contact us directly, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about the collars and how we use them.